Arise and seize the moment. Ride on the wings of change. Quietly unleash the power of positive choices. Positive voices on positive choices. Positive voices on positive choices. Positive voices on positive choices.
Good evening. This is Positive Choices, and I'm Empty Love. Tonight we're celebrating Black History Month, and my guest is Miss Nellie McKay.
I just showed these are pipes that my father used to sit on the porch and smoke his pipe. He didn't smoke anything else, and what he smoked going in this load, and he would light it and he'd smoke it. And when he finished, he had a little tray, I don't have it, to knock the ashes in. Nobody threw ashes or paper in the yards in those days. This is heavy. You weighed the baby with this, and also cotton, but you had a long dish pan, they said in those days, and this hung up, and they would tell you how much the baby weighed, and because there was no hospital, the baby was born home, and this here was the one for the cotton. This is the pot. This old pot, I have it. I've have many pinto beans and black-eyed peas. My mother used to do it. We used to boil groundhog in this pot because we ate groundhog in those days, and pasta. And then my mother would take it and take out that wire string. It's a black string, and you boil the pasta, and then you put it in a pan. And my mother, we would go out and get a bush because we didn't have a brush. And in those days, you had white gall. You don't find that much anymore. And we made a brush, and she made our own barbecue sauce. And we had rabbit, we ate squirrels. You know, a lot of people. This is the cotton seeds. They're old. I keep them. They've traveled to Middletown prison, every place, but I still keep those. And the pot, we wash clothes in, much, much larger. And after, we had two. One, they made lye soap. And that washed clothes, so beautiful. And this bell, we rang for the cows to come. It's time to milk the cows. And the cow's head would go through like a rack, and then we'll milk the cows. These are walnuts. They grow on a tree. And when they started getting kind of brown, we would take them off, put them in the smokehouse. And they're real dark. We cut off the top, and we made black walnut cakes out of it. This is a cowbell. I can't lift it. See, it's so heavy. This is a lamp. We burn kerosene. This is the old lantern, and this is also. And the baby, sometimes they put a baby on here. They can tell how much the baby weighed. And here, these stamps. You had to have stamps where I came from to buy shoes. If you didn't have a stamp, you couldn't buy shoes. So one day, my brother was sitting on the porch with my mother, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to college. I am not working in no field." And this big black limousine came up the road, and my mother said, "Well, who is that?" And he said, "Oh, I believe this Dr. John's car." And he drove up, and he says, "Polly, can this boy cook?" He said, my mother said yes. He was looking for a chef. So he the one that had all the stamps. So we was able to get 3 pair of shoes because he gave my brother extra stamps. And no, he didn't want to cook, but when he got there, he loved it, and he stayed there until the man died. And this was the judge used in those days, you know, on the bench. Yes. And this is how This was a rolling pin. It was this color. And we made it. This is the, I don't know, I didn't put the hem out. This is the horseshoe. This goes on the horse's foot. And the nails, and they take the hammer and nail it, and so the grabbers won't get in the horse. And this file, this sharpie, sometimes they have some with a little piece of metal on it. You had to file it down with this file. This, you could use this as a rice or potato masher. Madam Walker was the first black millionaire woman that made these. We had a long, it was some, I forget the name, but something like this, and we straightened our hair. And those days you could straighten your hair. We had brown paper to roll it up, but you couldn't go outside, even though we was in the country. My mother said you have to stay in the house. You're going out, you have to take the rollers out. We was wondering why. Because you're not supposed to go out with rollers. Nobody seen us in there with the birds and the rabbits and all, but she wouldn't let us go outside with rollers in our hair. This here, when the rich man, see, he wanted twine, he would pull it. And when the slave wanted twine, he was Lord. This is the way that he was pulling his twine. He had this. This was a look. I guess everybody knows what this is.
The grater.
Nothing ain't greater. Oh God. These are marbles. You buy them in the South. I never seen them here. And we used to get a whole bag for a nickel. When I went back down there, they $7 per pound. And I just had to buy them because a lot of the children never seen them. And these are the hickonuts from the tree. They had the tree, you had to go out and get the hickonuts. Anybody?
Chestnuts?
Huh?
Chestnuts?
Walnut.
Walnuts. I was going to say more of the black walnuts, but.
Yeah. And this was the coffee grinder. Oh.
And this?
Yeah. And this, what the children pick cotton in. But we had a long one, like 10 foot long. I've picked 1,000 pounds of cotton per day. No one believes that. This, I was in Birmingham and I got this from a market down there. And they would pick cotton, put in there, taking away the cotton.
From flowers.
This is they call it crochet.
Yeah.
Yes. This can fall on the floor, that's okay.
I'll hold it for you.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm finished. And this is a crowbar. You know, they use that to take ties and things off of cars. And this, everybody know what this is. Do you know what that is? Don't let them see the writing.
That's what they used to repair shoes with. A shoelace.
That's a shoelace. It's broken,
nice.
but I still carry it. And the night that you notice on Obama's program, one of the guys would quote something about Lansing Hughes, and it also said Mary. Her name was Mary. So here, 13, May the 13th, 1835. And this is what the slaves was sold in those days. You know, I mean, you can read it. And this year, what the blacks invented. I'm going to ask some questions. Anybody who made the clothesline? The clothesline, hang clothes on. His name was J.P. Allen. It was December the 10th, 1895. Bailey. That was a folding bed. You remember the folding? the folding bed. And who invented the luggage carry? Can anybody tell me that? His name is somebody, this is
You stumped us.
J.B. W. Butt. He invented that October the 10th, 1899.
Like the satchel, Miss McKay? Like the satchel? Like
That you carry your luggage on. Yes. Can anybody tell me who invented the mailbox? B.W. Dowden. October 27, 1891. Oh, who, can anybody tell me who invented the railroad switch? William H. Jackson, March the 9th, 1897. Now I'm just jumping around. Egg beater. Everybody eat eggs. What year? Come on, college people.
They don't teach us this.
William Johnson, the egg beater, February the 5th, 1884. All right, everybody have an air conditioning unit. I have one in the window. Can anybody tell me? That was kind of early. That was F. Frank M. Johnson. That was 1949. That was kind of early. Oh, what about the pencil sharpener? Pencil sharpener. Anybody can tell me? J.L. Lewis, November the 13th, 1897. The elevator. We all ride the elevator. Can anybody tell me anything about the elevator when it was invented? No, no. A. Mars, October the 11th, 1887. The cotton chopper. Murray, G.W. Murray. June the 5th, 1894. You see all of this. Oh, what about the refrigerator? Everybody have a refrigerator.
Standard?
Huh?
Standard?
Who?
Standard? His last name Standard?
Sanders. I just lost that. Where did I see that refrigerator? Yes. July the 14th, 1891. Whoa, God,
The young generation.
Now, who made, we all had children, the baby carriage? What year? William H. Richardson, June the 18th, 1889. He made the carriage. The cotton chopper, I think I went over that one there. An electric railroad. We used to have one electric railroad lights. That was May the 1st, 1894. Oh, the horseshoe. I just showed you a horseshoe. His name is J.W. Outlaw, November the 15th, 1898. And the electric light was Lamb and Nicholson, September the 13th, 1881. Just so many things that the blacks invented. And this young man, which I love, and I got it for my grandson. I was in Birmingham. He was the first black Buffalo soldier here. And I picked it up in Dr. King's I was in it was the library, I think. I was in a bookstore. And the white lady walked up and snatched it out of my hand. And it kind of got dark at first. I said, wait a minute. And I snatched it right back. And she says, I want it for my grandson. I said, I have Brandon great-grand. Somebody. She said it was 1898. I said, lady, I can see and I can read. If it was $40, I'd still buy it. But don't you never snatch nothing out of my hand, yeah? She said, I don't want nothing out this store. So the girl said, well, that's good. She's like, this is the only one they have. And they wasn't going to get any more. So he had the history on that. Yeah. But just I don't know how long they have, but Harry Tubman, I love her. The Underground Railroad, she was born about 1831. Ty, 1860, he came, he was working for his master, and then he decided he wanted freedom, and they come south. And 1619, his 40,000 blacks they was the first slave brought to America. And they worked. You know, a lot of people now think about, oh, this shouldn't have happened. I want to kill these white. You couldn't. You just had to live with it and work and pray that one day you would be able to sit and eat where you want to. But Harry Tubman, I left to read her book because the white master was looking for her. And she was sitting on there by a railroad on a bench, and it was two white men. He says, that her? And she pulled out this paper she couldn't read. And she started like she's reading. He said, oh, she can't read. She got up and left. And then the most important thing, I'm just skipping around, that she brought 300 people out of slavery. And one guy he got so sick, because he loved his master. And she said, if you don't come on with me, he said, I can't. She said, I have my gun. I'm going to kill you myself if you don't follow me. So we got the freedom. He was happy that he had left the master and came to freedom. So, you know, it's a good book and for children to read also and to learn about the slave. And also she has a home upstate. And you can only see, you can go in, if they haven't changed, Monday to Friday. You can go in and make a tour of the home. It was a black family wanted to buy it, but they didn't have enough money. So white people own that house now. Yeah, so. Well, I guess that's about it for here. I don't want to keep too long. And also in Washington, when I was traveling around with everyone, I would go and pick up the cards, you know, and I put it in here. First it was in here with a lot of garbage pictures, so I took it out and put these pictures in. So I'm going to a church the 28th, and I will be able to take that up and let the people see that. Okay. Thank you, Alan, very much, and Miss Leonard. Miss Leonard's going to do something on Dr. Allen, the AME Church.
Right.
And his brother, after they left their master, he was making $50 a month, and his brother made money, and they saved it, and they were able to buy their freedom. And then he started going from place to place on horseback, and he started preaching. And he saw the importance of being self-reliant. So in the churches, they would have meetings. And then he saw where it was important that the people started being self-reliant, and they started building educational institutions in the South. We have Clafton College in Orangeburg, South Carolina, which is a part of the United Methodist College. And they unveiled a stamp, a postage stamp, last year. And it was headed by the Bishop of AME Church at 132nd Street, Bishop Ingram, who was our bishop at that time. And Allen also was married, and his wife helped out as best she could. So that's the one thing that we have to look forward to, is helping our husbands. And that's the end of it.
Good afternoon. My name is Shola Olatwe. I'm Chair and CEO of the New York City Housing Authority. I'm so pleased to be here at Positive Choices with Ms. Roman, the home of Ms. Nellie McKay, learning about the history of the African American community. I think on the sunset of this country's first Black president, it is incredibly poignant and somewhat sad, but I think it is our responsibility to understand where we came from in order to know where we're going. And I can't think of a better sage to guide us through that path than the women assembled here today. So I want to thank them for their leadership and also issue a call to action. The New York City Housing Authority is the country's largest housing authority. We house more than half of this city's low-income families, and it is in great despair. And as we begin a new administration, I think it's important that we renew our commitment to ensuring that housing is truly an opportunity for today's generation as well as the next. And it has been shown that public housing has actually been the tool that has lifted families out of poverty. So we have a lot of work to do. We need all of our friends and partners, and I look forward to working with them to do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, my name is Cheryl Simmons Oliver, and I'm the Executive Associate Director of Communication and Marketing at NYC Health Plus Hospital, Lincoln's Hospital. And in addition to sitting in Nellie's home in the Patterson Projects, we're actually directly across the street. We're the public hospital servicing this community. We are a regional trauma center doing great work right here in the South Bronx, serving the community, those who are insured and those who are uninsured, with a stellar and outstanding staff. So today, on January 20th, we brace ourselves for what will surely be major changes and transformation within the entire healthcare system of New York. It serves in excess of 1 million people because the Affordable Care Act is under attack. And though it may have areas that need to be transformed, one thing it surely has done, it has provided insurance for those with pre-existing conditions. And that is extremely important. When you have cancer, you have diabetes, you have heart failure, those are pre-existing conditions. High blood pressure is a pre-existing condition. Within our community, the African diasporas, these are major setbacks for us. And to know that this may all go away is something that has to shock the very conscience of every man, woman, and child. So it is a call to arms, as previously stated, that we, again, though 300 years have passed, sit at the same seat, that we have to come forth and assert our rights. This is not an entitlement. It is a right to have quality health care in New York City and across and throughout this nation. Block grants will not do it for us. We will lose too many lives. And for those of us who have the abilities and the willingness to reach out to elected officials and to reach out to family members who live in other sections of the country, we have a burden to do it. We have to become our brother's keeper. We cannot leave it to chance. And for those of us who crossed over, I use that term, if you sit and you think about it, we really have not gone that far. For had we gone as far as we thought with the election of President Obama, we would not be sitting here wondering what the future will hold for our children, our grandchildren, and indeed for ourselves. So it is an honor to be here and to speak on the choice, because we have a choice. We have a choice to stand up, rise up, or to sit by passively and be directed. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Linda Duke, and I'm also a resident of public housing. But not only a resident of public housing, I sit on the Community Board 1, and I'm also the 84 State Committee Woman. I have been knowing Ms. McKay for years, and Ms. McKay is the type of individual. She turns back around and she pulls the next person up. Sometimes we get in positions and get above ourselves, but Ms. McKay is not that type of individual. I have worked with McKay. I sit on the community board with Ms. McKay, and a whole lot of things that is done in this community. If it wasn't a Ms. McKay or other residents in this community, they would not get done. It's a pleasure to be here today, to be in the House with the New York City Housing Chair and other individuals I have met for the first time, and some I've been knowing for years. So, all I can say is God bless you, alhamdulillah.
Good evening. This is Positive Choices. I hope you enjoyed my show. I come on every Saturday night, Channel 68. Have a friend watch with you the next time, and have a blessed week.
Positive voices on positive choices. 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 Positive voices on positive choices.